Hurricane Irma goes tossed. Here we are at this marina.
Hi, my name's Colin. I used to be a chief engineer on super yachts, but gave it all up to buy a hurricane-damaged Lagoon 450. My friends and I are fixing it up as we go, and are determined to circumnavigate the entire planet. So subscribe if you want some inspiration to live life to the fullest. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the things you did. So what are you waiting for? Alright guys, so we're about to glue in one of our structural pieces of plywood. We've got 18mm marine ply. We've already cut it to shape. We've seen all of that. We're now going to glue and screw it to the bulkhead. There's going to be 2 of these, one each side, and this is just going to give this section of the bulkhead so much strength, because of course after that we're going to glass it in with epoxy. So that's what we're doing. So the glue is going to be our West Systems epoxy with cover seal inside it, and it's just going to give us a nice paste, and we're just going to spread that on this entire bulkhead here. So it's all going to be glued down there, and it's going to be super strong. I'm super nervous about this. Like, it's the first piece that we're gluing up, so to guess how much glue we need is a real struggle. We don't have enough glue and just put all this glue up onto the wall, but there's not enough. We've got to quickly make more to finish the job, to get the plywood on before the first load kicks off. So it's pretty tough, this. And then if we got too much, we just wasted a whole bunch of material. Plus, if we mix up large quantity like this, it produces more heat within itself and kicks off the whole bucket, and then you lose the whole bucket and you've only got a little bit up on the wall. So I've been thinking about this all day, about how much glue we need. I think 800 milliliters with a 200 milliliter backup, which is what we have. I think that's going to be our answer. There we go. Spatula for the glue. So we're just going to be going. It's so hard to know how much we need. I'm just going to mark the outline of it here. That's where I'm going to glue to. So originally the triple layer of plywood came to here, and this is where it cracked, and up in that corner as well. So obviously it was just too weak. So like I've mentioned, we're going 3 layers back to here, all the way to the beam up there. I've seen a few different failures of this bulkhead now, and for us it was down here where the triple layer ended. For other people it's been here where all the holes are. On the other side there's 4 holes, and it creates a weak area here, and that's where they've cracked. One boat cracked right through here, and this slipped up beside itself and failed that way. So by doing what we're doing, we're 100%, well, I'll never say 100%, but we're reducing the chance of this ever breaking again. We're over-engineering this because we're going around the world.
Alright, Jamie. It's go time.
Break it off the bottom there. Yeah. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is just get most of it out of here and onto the wall so that it's not cooking itself. Here we go. We're going. What are you calling?
So that'll stick, connect to the new bulkheads to the hull.
Yep. So I just got some fillet left over, so I'm putting in some fillets now. So So just where the plywood meets our beam, if I put a fillet in there, a nice rounded surface, I can run the glass from here down the fillet. I'll put another fillet in here and up into the ceiling, so it's just all locked in together. There we go, guys, look at that. She's in. I'm gonna put some diagonal strips across here to strengthen that. This was a weak point, and that was a weak point, and that's a weak point, and that's probably a weak point. That might be a weak point. Now it's not. I was just saying to the guys that, you know, the getting the first side done is always the hardest. We didn't know how much glue to use, how much filler, all of that stuff. But now that we've done the one side, we can do the other three, and it's just going to be so much easier. We know what we're doing now. We know how it all's going to go together. So it's a big moment. So we're having a beer, and that's it for the day. Start again tomorrow. Thanks for watching. So this morning we're about to go down into the starboard side, and we're going to rebuild both of the beams that support the top side of the bulkheads down there. So you've already seen the whole process with the port side here, so we'll go through this quite quickly. So we got our aircon running. I've gone out and I've bought this fan, so the aircon's blowing the cold air towards the fan, and the fan's blasting it down the stairs. We've got that door closed, so the cool air is going into the starboard forward cabin right where we need it. But it's the same deal. We're systems epoxy with biaxial glass. We're going 15 layers to match the existing thickness of the beam, but because it's an epoxy, it's going to be so much stronger than what was originally there. Plus at the end we're going to reinforce it further into the ceiling. So that's the process.
So what does the air roller do?
It just gets the air bubbles out, and it gets the resin out as well. It gives you a nice sort of lean mix, less resin for the amount of glass that's up there, because the strength is in the glass, it's not in the resin. Here we go, guys. If you've never pulled peel ply off, this is an extremely satisfying feeling. Ready? Yeah! Look at that. So, as we've already explained, it's already got that texture in it. Sitting so there's no jagged edges of glass like that can cut you or that needs grinding or anything. It's just ready. I'm gonna put this plywood on, and then we're gonna glass all the way up into the deck here. That is a strong beam right there. Those of you who've been following for a while, you know that's the best way to test if you've done a good glass job or not.
Punch the shit out of it.
Give it the old. You can just hear it. You can feel it. So we're about to glue the other 3 bits of plywood onto the bulkheads for that sandwich structure. Alright guys, so our mission for this afternoon is to get some glass onto these bulkheads. So we've decided to do it in 2 stages. The first stage, we're just going to glass over the big flat spaces, the big flat areas on the bulkhead, and then the second stage we'll be tabbing it all in down this edge here, tabbing it to the wall, tabbing it to the hull, and then tabbing it up to the deck above. So as you've probably seen a few times before, we like to use just some clearish plastic, and then we just simply mark up where we want the glass to go. So we'll be coming just inside the edge, something like that, up near the top, straight down there, and then into the corner. We'll come back from the corner a little bit here, something like that, down here like that, around there. Keep this. We've got the holes here, but we'll cut them later. So that'll be the first piece. So we are going to put a couple of layers of West Systems epoxy on first, without putting any glass in it, just to sort of seal the wood, let the wood absorb some of that epoxy a little bit, and it'll make for a better adhesion, and also seal the surface a little bit before we start glassing. So I'm just going to throw some epoxy on here, just on the surfaces that we're about to glass, and we'll see this epoxy just soak into the wood. A couple of coats of epoxy on there. We waited about 20 or 30 minutes between coats, so it didn't fully cure anything between coats. But you know how we roll. We like to have everything organized. We got 4 piles of glass, 5 layers down the bottom, 2 layers here with epoxy, and that overlapping section is 7 layers. We've cleaned this space out. I don't know if you recognize it anymore. This is where all the shit was piled up. We've cleared the space, put some plastic down, and we are going to roll them right there. We're going to wet them out, and then we're going to roll the bottom ones sideways, so that when they go on here, we just have to unroll them one by one. 5 layers down there, and from the top, roll them down, and then the other one. So 2 layers on here. Feels like we're having lots of little victories lately. Every day we kind of get something quite important done. Today was one of those days. Both sides of the bulkhead are now glassed in. Feel really good about it. The peel ply looks amazing. We just know that when you peel that peel ply off, it's just going to be that beautiful finish, you know. But it's not just aesthetics. There's a lot of good properties about it that we've already spoken about, so that's good. There's about 20 boats with this problem that they know of. So it's a really interesting time. We're just getting on with it, and we're just making sure that we fix it the way that we think needs to be fixed with the help of the architects. But there's a lot of broken bulkheads of this particular model. And I spoke with Thomas Gailey, the director of Lagoon, the other day, and I said, "Are you guys going to take any responsibility for this? What's the deal here?" Like, I feel the right thing to do for people, these Lagoon owners. There's 1,000 of them out there. I think the only right thing to do is to advise people to reinforce this bulkhead so that they don't have to go through what I'm going through. I think it's a strong message that I need to send.
Probably a good one, Colin.
Yeah.
A good one. And as a Lagoon owner, you give an advice of saying yes, have a look there, and you should do some reinforcements.
Yeah. Are all these people going to have to pay for this repair themselves? And people that haven't reinforced the bulkhead here, do you think their bulkheads are just going to crack just like all of ours? So all these things are slowly starting to get disproven, like hurricane boat cracked bulkheads. Well, no, a lot of them didn't go through a hurricane. Okay, people ran aground, that's why they cracked their bulkheads. No, most of those boats haven't run aground. Okay, they even tried to say heavy charter use, and that's just a bullshit excuse. I'm being a little bit careful with what I say. I don't want to say these boats are badly made or anything like that. I just do think there's a design flaw, particularly around these huge holes that they've put in the bulkhead for the conduit. So yeah, that's just what's going through my head at the moment. I appreciate you following along. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. I think we've got some pretty interesting stuff coming up, including a sugar scoop extension. So, a lot to be excited about around here. So we've got a situation on our hands, guys. So Jamie dropped that whole sheet of fiberglass on my head that we had already wet out with epoxy, and then we just finished glassing, and I tried to run my hand through my hair, and I've got this massive rock hard patch of epoxy on my head. I just googled it and they said the only thing you can do is shave your head. So Sylvia's trying to rub it out with coconut oil. This is not cool. There we go. Peel plies coming off. Let's have a quick look before you do that. Yeah, looks pretty freaking good. Just give it the old test of Colin's test.
Oh, you now broke my hand.
No, give it a good one. I can't hear it. Tell me if it's good.
Yeah, it's good. I'm not going to break my hand on it.
Peel that baby off. Look at that. There he goes. Is it strong? Give it the old. Need to hit it hard. You can't hear if it's strong or not.
Yeah, I know how hard you want me to hit it.
Hitting like a girl.
Yeah, well, when I've got no hand left. Oh, right, eh? Here comes the hero, guys.
Yeah, it's strong.
Yeah, what, your knuckles got any skin left on it?
But in all seriousness, look at this, guys. Look at this fillet that I put in there. And it was just about to kick and we glassed over it and then put the peel ply. It looks so good. Such a nice finish. No jagged edges on this, you know, it's just sort of feathered into the existing stuff. Really nice. All of that red is just the marker pen that we used. So this is a weak area that we've got 7 layers of glass there now. The cracking of this bulkhead is what results in all of the other frames and bulkheads cracking. But it all starts from here. So if this doesn't crack, this won't bend, and then that won't come off, that won't come off, that won't come off, then the engine room tabbing won't snap. So Sylvia spent probably an hour and a half using coconut oil, massaging all the hairs to get the epoxy out of my head, and wasn't that fun, but she managed to get it all out. So I'm going to make the same mistake today. I'm going to wear some certified head protection. Both sides of this bulkhead are going to get glassed in now. The problem with filming all this stuff, guys, is there's literally not enough space. So James is going to be rolling and wetting out the glass there. I'm going to be down here putting the glass on, so there's not, I don't know, such tight space. We'll try film a little bit of this. Look at that surface. So good. There we go. Beautiful. We'll be tabbing this in today to the walls around here. So I'm just going to do some quick bit of grinding. Not the funnest job in the world, but just get a couple of these edges where we got a bit too much glass. And then we can glass all of that in. Phew.